TCR class makes their debut on Florida's Suncoast this weekend, and it has lived up to its billing. It's a glorious day in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hi all, and welcome to the TC America's Streets of St. Pete, presented by CrowdStrike. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Calvin Fish and Ryan Marine. And Cal, as these teams get set for round 4 of their championship today, both the setting and challenges couldn't be more different.
Well, Greg, the peace and serenity is about to be shattered once again here. Great afternoon to be chilling on the water, but also a great spot to catch the awesome TC America's action for the second race of the weekend. The racetrack is quite the challenge, but perfectly suited to these touring car machines.
And this venue is, as you said, absolutely spectacular. Great viewing for local residents. Some of them, I'm sure, renting their places out for fans that are coming in. And then the challenges of this track. The Circuit of America is wide open. This classic street course, but a mighty good one.
It really is, and there's a totally different mindset. You come from those wide open runoff areas at Circuit of the Americas, that state-of-the-art facility, to a tight street circuit. It really demands a lot of respect. You've got to work through the weekend, get track time, get a feel for the race car. Don't make a big mistake, and most of these drivers have done a great job of doing that here this weekend in St. Pete.
Absolutely. One mistake made yesterday by the pole sitter, and it cost him just a little bit. Nate Vincent, though, able to come back, put in a scorcher of a lap on his way back to the top of the field. It was actually his teammate Herson that was on the pole. Vincent tapping him, had to come back through the field. Herson hanging on for the win after he got knocked off track. I mean, a lot of drama in that first race. You anticipating something similar today?
I think so. I mean, I'm sure they had a lot to chew on last night. They got the first victory for that team, FCP Euro. Michael Herson getting the job done. Nate Vincent, he'll want to come back. You know, he grabs the pole position with that fast lap yesterday. He's going to want to put it on his teammate here today, but he's got a big challenge from behind as well. That Alfa Romeo, James Walker, shown stunning speed over the first 2 weekends of the championship season.
Boy, hasn't it? That Risa Competizione, Alfa Romeo, doing a superb job. And interestingly, they Romeo Ferraris, the engineers from the factory that works on that car, watched the webcast of the race yesterday. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning in Milan, Italy. They said when they got back to the trailer after the race here, they had emails already saying, we noticed this, try that. This is a serious program from this team. And let's not forget, we have 2 different classes racing here. Brian Putt in the number 15, that's the RO Motor Oil, eEuroparts.com, RO Racing, Audi, doing a superb job, finishing 3rd overall in front of one of those TCR cars in the TCR Cup class machine.
Yeah, he's having a great weekend, and with that win, that puts him into the lead in the TCR Cup driver standings right now over Alain Ozier, who had swept the weekend up at Coda. So let's see what happens here, though. I mean, that's the key. You got to think big picture, 2 separate divisions here.
That's a fact. Yeah, Lozier not having the race he anticipated. Lights going out on the safety car. So we are getting ready to go racing this field, heading down now into turn 10. Crucial corner on this track, comes at the end of one of the fastest sections. The wall kind of creeps out at you. You can try a pass there. It never comes easy. And then into this 11 and 12 complex that sets you up for one of the more important corners on the track.
It really does. It's really key to get through this section. This is where we had the little bobble yesterday between the 2 teammates. Kind of run into each other in that break zone, but these cars are glued to the racetrack, these high downforce TCR machines.
So as the pace car makes its way into pit lane, 40 minutes of racing about to commence. The FCP Euro team bringing the field to the line, and watch for the green flag as we get this one underway. We also have the TCA Invitational at the back of the field. We are racing, and immediately Walker looks down to the inside. He timed that pretty well, Cal. He could be going to the lead.
He does, and he gets really aggressive there. Vincent tries to squeeze him. He's up and over the curb. They all managed to squeak through there, but that was dicey. There's not a lot of grip on that inside lane.
Not at all, and side by side through turns 2 and 3 by some of the TCR Cup Audis. Everybody getting through clean. Now Walker all of a sudden finds himself under attack as well by the other of the FCP Euro machines down into turn 4.
Herson making a move, our championship leader coming off that brilliant victory yesterday. But once again, James Walker, he seems to really be strong at the second half of these races so far this season. Great start, tried to go for the lead, and he's feeling his oats. He's really got a lot of confidence right now in that machine underneath him.
Yeah, and Brian Putt feeling some serious heat right now. I think that is a fired up Alain Lozier, who got a great start in the Alpha Sonic Audi and has moved up into 2nd in class.
Yes, he's the 3-time Canadian touring car champion, so he's got a lot of experience. The can down to the inside. Great battle there through turn 10.
Yeah, McCann actually grazing the wall in yesterday's race. Said it knocked the toe out a little bit. And he said eventually it cost us a little bit in terms of tires, and that's why his teammate, Christian Cole, was able to close up so quick at the end of the race. He said, I need to be a little cleaner today. And a nice attempt at an outside move here by the 45 teammate to Alain Lausier. That is Nelson Chan. Not sure he got it quite done, though.
Everyone's settling in
there.
Oh, that's a late move there. But takes the line away from Alain, had to give it up.
You can see the experience there of Alain, because as Putt took that line away, he just said, I'll get out that curb a little bit and I'll let him go through. We're not going to have contact now. Long
Look at
race.
McCann. He's looking, he's probing. Ty should now be up to tip. Oh, Lausier is wide. Locks him up into the brake zone for turn 4. McCann has to go with him. Cannot take advantage of it. Kind of pushed him out wide.
Oh,
Lausier completely sideways. He just doesn't have the red tire temps there yet for him. A lot of these drivers will actually use that e-brake, that launch control brake that they had for the standing starts we saw last year in this form of competition to try and heat up those red tires. Right now, Lausier does not have the balance of the race car that he's looking for.
Not looking super happy right now. And again, the back end steps out as he goes through turn 10. This race running a little earlier in the day, not by much, but a little earlier than it ran yesterday. And it's a bit warmer today. You can see a lock up there at the back as well, unloaded tire.
All of these cars, 2-liter turbo engines, front-wheel drive machines. You got the TCR cars, the 2 FCP Euro VWs and the Alpha have the sequential gearbox, and everything else in the field are Audis with the DSG. A little bit slower shifting, a little bit more weight over the front axles. This changes the weight distribution a little bit.
There's a look at Brian Putt leading in the TCR Cup category and just doing a superb job. Talked to him a little bit earlier today, and he made the comment that he said never had any anticipation things would start this well. He said, I'm just delighted. And he said, but that means we just have to keep focusing, and we now have the target on our back, and he's up to it. And you can see some of these guys really doing some curb hopping, aren't they?
Yeah, they're looking a lot more aggressive than they were yesterday. I think they're now feeling comfortable on this street circuit for many of the drivers in the field. Never run between walls before, and that is very intimidating, but now they're starting to get that confidence, really pushing these TCR machines to their limits.
That and the fact they don't have a race tomorrow morning as well, so if they do ding it up a little bit, they've got some time here. But boy, Brian Putt, after Lausier's issues, Putt has not only eased away from him, but he is sticking right with James Walker in that TCR Alfa Romeo.
Walker just laid down the fastest lap of the race last time by the stripes. So it's been a bit of a trend over the first 2 racing weekends. See, those FCP Euro machines are not getting away. Michael Herzen, yesterday's winner, closing in on his teammate just a little bit. And he just sets a new fast lap of the race, just a few hundredths faster than Walker. But Putt is right with them. The top 4 on the racetrack right now run lap times within 1/10 of a second of one another.
That is impressive that Lausier fighting things just a little bit in the 124s. Big move here by McCann down into turn 4. And he made his intentions clear early, and Lausier sensed he was had, let him go.
Yeah, Land just didn't want to defend too aggressively there. I think he's still fighting the race car a little bit with the handling, so I think if he tried to get aggressive there, he's probably going to run into trouble. He's going to try and settle in, hoping that race car comes to him a little bit further into this run.
And oftentimes you'll have people saying, well, it's front-wheel drive. Does it really matter that much about setup at the back of the car? You still need a balanced race car. And that's what Lausier seems to be fighting. There's teammate Nelson Chan doing a very nice job. Very experienced in Asian competition in GT racing. Doing a lot of racing there. Driving the Audi downtown Toronto in Simplus Realty Law. Audi?
He's run some radicals over the year, Formula Renault 2.0, so a lot of experience, lives in Toronto, but loves this TCR machine. Herzen right there, fastest lap of the race now goes to Walker once again. They keep trading it up, and Walker's getting a little bit closer in the Alfa Romeo right there.
Well, that's one of the nice things about this TCR concept. It's a global class, so there's a category for TCR cars in the Canadian Touring Car Championship, so they'll run there, come and run here, and really gives them lots of track time and the ability to really have a lot of fun in these cars.
Well, that's the great thing about our championships. You got the GT3 machinery, the GT4 machinery that ran earlier here today. There's somewhere for them to run globally, different championships.
Having a look here at the 91, that is Eric Powell, who went pole to checkers in the TCA Invitational class. Not running for points here, but they were welcome to come and run. And Tech Sports said, yeah, we'd love to come on and help put on a show. And Powell once again looking strong. It is BRZHQ.com, Subaru BRZTS. Powell, he is truly a talent, and he's working a lot with this team and a lot of different hats, if you will. But whenever he crawls behind the wheel, the man is a serious player. And we've often said, Cal, that he would do just as well in any category of car he gets behind the wheel of. He's the real deal.
He really is a great talent, as you said, and instrumental in developing that Subaru with the team. Had 3 wins last year, then had a run of bad luck that was hard to imagine. Cost him really the contention for the championship. But that car he's driving has gone for 4 straight victories. Whitmer had 2 wins of the opening rounds of the championship last week at Coda.
Back up to this lead scrap here, Vincent Herzen and Walker. And Walker once again with those fast laps. In this last lap, Cal, he turned again. It wasn't faster than his fast lap, but it was 4/10 quicker than the guys up front. He's reeling them in again.
He is. We've seen that trend. I think Rick Mayer and the Risi Competizione engineering squad really starting to feel this Alfa Romeo Giulietta out and realizing what it needs. James just seems so disciplined in his approach to the racing. Got the lead yesterday and had that moment, and recovered nicely though, and it was really a fierce battle at the end as Michael Herzen just hung on for his victory.
Yeah, it was a great comeback drive by Herzen after the tap from his teammate, dropping back through the order and then coming back up, and when Vincent ended up getting a drive-through, Herzen was placed to bring the honors home. There's a look at that top 3. And the margin that they have opened up. There goes Brian Putt out of your screen. Then second place in the TCR Cup class at number 3 in McCann. And this little battle here is Nelson Chan taking a run now to 27. A Christian Cole also in a McCann Racing entry.
I think all of the drivers are realizing if you stay out a little bit wider where it's rubbered in, you get more grip. But Chan is all over him right now. Really good exit speed through turn 1, trying to get a run here. Maybe set him up for a break zone into turn 4.
Cole has enough in hand right now in the no shock Yeti Coolers McCann Racing Audi. It's interesting in the GT4 category, which is also racing here this weekend. When they come out of 3, they make a big move to avoid that bump. These guys just straight line right through it. Just a little bit difference in terms of car setup, ride height, etc.
Yeah, just the compliance he seems to be there. They're high downforce machines. You can see they're really cool looking. Like a rally car almost. But boy, do they perform. They're front wheel drive, but they don't drive like a front wheel drive machine with the differential setups that they have. Really have great balance.
But under the bridge through 11, 12, and now into this final sequence of corners, and Lozier starting to feel it a little bit here and putting together another run now, coming back up onto the back of Selinsky.
Yeah, the Fast MD machine had a great run here yesterday. But Lozier is now starting to look a little bit more balanced, like the car is underneath him, not as unsettled as it was in those opening couple of laps.
Yeah, it was an impressive run by Jay because he did not run the opening 2 rounds at Coda. So for the local driver here, obviously this is not a track he can contest on, so he's dipping his toe into the waters in a big way here up against some pretty talented competition.
Yeah, it's a big step up for him, but he's performed really well. A lot of people here supporting him and cheering on that Fast MD branding on the car, so they'll be pretty stoked about this weekend.
Yeah, he likes running with this RS Works team too. They're doing a really superb job, but he's got a mirror full of orange and gray now with Lozier right there working through the kink. 9A is the designation for the corner, and then behind them you can see Cole, Chan, and the rest of the field.
The other thing is the balance of the race car may be a little bit different to yesterday. We just finished the IndyCar race, long race, different rubber down on the racetrack to see how this Pirelli P0 rubber compares to that, and if it's compatible. Bit of a guessing game.
Yeah.
These teams did not run here last year with these cars, but some of the teams have experience, like Risi, for example, have run GT Le Mans cars here in the past. All about using your notebooks.
And Lozier, look, tucked back in, now goes again. And this time comes through, and I think Selinsky was being gentlemanly there. Ooh. Huh, he gave him a little room, and then Lozier was kind of fainted that way again.
I think he thought he'd cleared him and could take
so
up
too,
that normal line, but Jay had kind of got good exit out of turn one and had his car placed right there, so might get a little warning from the stewards on that one to just pay attention. No contact, but Jay had to like dive on the brakes and lost several car lengths because of that.
Yeah, knowing the lane, that certainly wasn't intentional. I think you're absolutely right. He just thought he cleared him. Now, turn 9, hugely important corner, isn't it?
It really is. There's a long, fast sweeping corner coming up, which should be flat out if your tires are good in one of these TCR machines. So your exit speed really identifies how much terminal speed you'll have right now as you hit the brakes.
Another look at it. He looked kind of tucked in and then decided, yeah, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I think he kind of caught Jay Selinsky looking in the mirrors, and I think Jay thought he was going to go for it the first time, and then when he comes back across the racetrack after he has made the pass, almost contact.
And up front, had a change of position. It was actually working around, I think, the number 95 of Mike Ogren, one of the TCR Cup machines, going by the TCA entry of Ogren. Yeah, indeed, and now the leaders overall coming up, I think, on the back of Powell, leading the TCA category, and doing so right in the twisting part of the track. See the flaggers right there, get that yellow, the blue flag with the yellow stripe. That's technically it just means check your mirrors. Powell recognizing it also means an overtaking flag, getting out of the way as best he can.
Yeah, I think he just hustled through there thinking if I try and slow down, I'm going to be in the way, so he took his normal speed. Then he's just trying to clear the space for the following cars to chase the leader down.
Actually checked that was Ogren, who was really doesn't have the experience of Powell, and did a beautiful job of getting out of the way for these drivers that were coming up behind him. Well done to Mike Ogren in the Lombard Bros Gaming Subaru BRZ TS.
This really allowed Vincent to get a nice little bit of breathing room. That's the biggest margin he's had all day long as they cross the stripe one more time. 2.4 seconds.
Yeah, it's the FCP Euro team, and the team, the technical part of it is really administered by HRD. It's Heinlein Racing Development. Tiv Heinlein in his program really working with this team, doing a nice job. And they've got a lot of support from Liqui-Moly, but they've got a really cool sponsor this weekend that they're introducing. It's Portico, and they build seal and vibration control products for European and Asian OEM manufacturers, and they're bringing that level of quality to the aftermarket, and at a fraction of the price. And of course, all those parts are carried by FCP Euro. So as always, there's always that dynamic relationship between sponsors with a program.
Yeah, you need to check them out online if you're looking for parts for your car. They do a wonderful service. It's all fully guaranteed and warranted. It's amazing. You can't believe it, actually, when you read what they're willing to provide for you.
Yeah, the discount when you buy it, especially if you're buying the Cortico parts, and then the lifetime guarantee that's provided by FCP Euro. I asked them once, I said, clearly you sell Liqui-Moly. You know, when you put 5,000 miles on it, I dump it out, and they went, you send us the oil, we'll send you a new set, a new group of cans. And I went, that's unbelievable.
I teased him, I asked him if they made golf balls.
That's right. Those go missing a bit for you?
I go through those quite frequently.
Yes, now, after that little bit of working some traffic, Walker closer than he has been to Herzen in this little scrap for second here. And that Alfa Romeo, absolutely beautiful.
It is.
Bit of kit run by a great team.
Really cool race car. And he is really enjoying life behind the wheel of it. James Walker has Ferrari Challenge experience with the Risi Competizione team. He's run at Montreal in a couple of races and led. He grabbed the win, he said, but felt very comfortable up there. It's a little bit more wide open than the street circuit here at St. Petersburg, but certainly the last part of the circuit is quite similar in terms of a little bit of runoff rim.
And he said coming to this class, to TCR from Ferrari Challenge, he said, one of the reasons I'm enjoying it is I have a lot of history with front drive cars. Back, I had my own team in club racing back in the day where we raced front drive Saturns, and he said this just feels a little bit more familiar to me, and he said it's allowing me to maybe get up to speed a little bit quicker. And fast lap in the second round of the championship at Circuit of the Americas, he's finding speed in a hurry.
Yeah, just really a great approach, and we keep commenting on it, but it's quite remarkable how he's able to just find the time and just work diligently, recognizing where the strengths of his race car are and putting it together for a lap time towards the end of these races.
Oh, little problem there. That looks like maybe the 47 of Lozier. He was fighting an upshift issue in the race yesterday. And I wonder if that may not be cropping up again. He swept the opener at Circuit of the Americas, was fast here in practice and qualifying, but has had some issues in the race.
One thing when you're on the street circuit, Greg, you need everything performing well. You need the balance in the race car, you need the brakes to be working well so you can bleed off the pressure into these corners, but also even the upshifts and the downshift. If it's not there, it just gets you all out of sync and out of rhythm.
Right now, Lozier just trying to stay with the 27 of Christian Cole in that no-shock Audi from McCann Racing, and he's got Nelson Chan, his teammate, right behind him. Let's see what happened. He had a problem yesterday in turn 10. He's wide there again, Cal.
Yeah, and I wonder if it is a downshift issue.
Yeah.
When you're coming into these corners, you're obviously braking down there, but you also kind of use the transmission and the engine RPM to be matched correctly, and if it's not shifting down, you're in too high gear, you'll just run out wide.
Well, once everybody slipped through, it seems like he's finding his pace a little bit. It's got to be frustrating when you know you're quick, you've already shown you could be up front, and then you just have a little niggling problem like that. And when it's random and it just shows up, you have a problem running into turn 10, that wall looms. That's got to be a little bit uncomfortable.
Absolutely, and you could see there, definitely front-wheel drive cars, as he hitched that right rear up in the air and it just sat there stationary for a couple of seconds before he planted the power down to get off the corner. Up front, gaps remaining pretty stable. Vincent was still a comfortable 2+ second lead over his teammate. Michael Herzen, the championship leader. Walker keeping the pressure on now, not allowing those two FCP Euro machines to relax for a moment.
Yeah, that top three here in the overall and in TCR remaining real close. There is your leader, the number 72 from pole of Nate Vincent. Rolling the throttle onto the front straight once again. Here comes teammate Herzen. And then Walker. Wanted to mention with Walker, one of the sponsors on the car is Helapaget, and it's the racing systems, brake systems. And the president of the company, Fred Snow, was supposed to be here this weekend and was supposed to be at COTA. Not feeling very well and hasn't been able to make the trip. And James, a nice guy, asked if we could give a shout out and say hi. He's sure he's watching and that they wish he was here. And also the team just on Friday signed a brand new sponsor, HBE. And they said we're really happy to have them on board as well. So just wanted to give a shout out there to Fred Snow. Hope to see us in races here as this season unfolds.
Michael Herzen just laid down the fastest lap of the race, but I think Walker must be on a cracker right now because he's caught him for that second position.
Now you have that carrot out there. If Rick Mayer just radioed and said, all right, bud, Herzen just turned fast lap of the race. You got anything? Walker apparently has said, I might.
They'd love to grab his first victory of the year. Got a little bit of work to do. He's got to get around both of those VWs in front of him, but seems to have the pace there once again.
Now, one of the things we talk about with cars that have a fair amount of aero in them, and these do, is you get right up behind somebody, you lose a little bit of the efficiency of the aero. These cars that susceptible to that, or can you drive through it?
It seems like, talking to the drivers, I've never raced one of these cars, but talking to the drivers in the paddock, they feel they're really raceable. Yes, they got high downforce, but not to the point where you get that aero wash effect and it takes the downforce off if you're following closely. So much like the GT4 machines, they operate the same way. GT3, I think they're a bit more sensitive. However, they're not running here this weekend.
the other side of the coin is when you're right up behind somebody in racing, you don't necessarily get airflow into ducts. And a few of the teams have been talking about that they've been running some pretty high brake temps here this weekend.
Well, you certainly use them, and even though the cars don't have ABS, which will really blow the temperatures sky high if you're really loaded on that all of the time, just with the street circuit, just seems to really, the track temps seem to stay really high. And you've got to be conscious that you're following someone really closely. You're not getting the end of those brake ducts into the systems.
This is a good little scrap for the final podium spot in the TCR Cup class. As Selinsky in that fast MD entry from RS Works right there, the number 11. Just continues, looks in his mirrors, and Christian Cole just kind of is right there, lap after lap. And then No Shock Yeti Coolers, Audi Sport RS3 LMS, McCann Racing.
A little lock up there. I thought I saw some smoke up ahead of Cole, which I would assume came from Selinsky. He looks to be in good shape still. He locked the brake up going into turn 8.
A little wide there.
A little wide there too. So again, once you lose the confidence a little bit on a street circuit, you need everything operating 100%. It kind of throws you a little bit in terms of the psychology of the driver.
Well, and look at Cole, how he shallowed up his exit from 12, which gave a little wider arc through 13 and 14. I think he was trying something here, but Selinsky looks like he got out at 14 pretty decently.
The other problem is at this stage of the weekend, in a busy racetrack and a lot of marbles out there, and if you do lock up and run a little bit wide, really easy to pick up on those tires, and then suddenly you don't get the response that you're looking for as you turn into the next corner. About half a lap, you should be able to scrub that rubber back off and get back to the performance level you're expecting.
Through 3 now. Again, Cole taking just a little bit of a look. Problem is, even in this corner, you get to the middle of the track with that approach, it tightens the radius up, and you can find yourself a little bit offline trying to get through 5 and 6.
Yeah, it's a real chess game, and everyone's experimenting, trying to find out where the car will stick. Saw that it's kind of gone away a little bit as we've got more and more rubber down through the course of the racing weekend, but down in the inside into turn 1, the brake zone there was literally treacherous early in the weekend, but now it's getting grip. Cole there having a peek. Trying to put Selinsky off his guard a little bit.
When you make a good point, too, about the fact earlier, you mentioned no ABS on these cars or traction control, and so they've really got to be thinking about preserving those front tires, and Selinsky locks up. And a little bit of target fixation, it looked like, with the 27 of Cole.
Wasn't quite sure where he was going to go, and just paused momentarily. But he's got a bit of a run here. He may realize that Selinsky's struggling a little bit. Maybe time to go for it. Slides it down to the inside.
Oh, he locks up. You hear the chirp, you see that car skate a little bit, but Jay recognized what was happening, and better to let him through than have contact. And so after a long fight, McCann now has moved up, or Cole, excuse me, has moved up in the McCann Audi, and that is to 3rd in the TCR Cup class. So now Selinsky's got to figure out, what can I do and regroup here to see if there's anything I've got to be able to come back after it. And Lozier now has had to give up that spot back to the number 45 of his teammate Chan. Lozier has dropped behind him at this stage, so his problems continue. He's running his lap off, but Selinsky and Cole here, it's going to be interesting to see whether Selinsky, if it's something that he can just kind of regroup and start to mount and attack once again. But right now, Cole has that 3rd spot, and Selinsky in 4th. Now we move up to that battle at the front once again in traffic. This could be an opportunity for Walker, as Herzen has got one of the TCA cars right in front.
And Vincent is just getting this traffic at the right time, our leader. He's extending the lead as well as laying down the fastest lap of the race. He's dipped into the 121 to 121.9. As this battle for 2nd intensifies between Herzen and Walker.
Walker in the race yesterday had a little bit of a moment. He said he asked a little bit too much of the brakes since they don't have ABS, and he skated, and he said, how I didn't just brush that wall in 10, I don't know. And that was what opened the door to allow Herzen to sneak right on by him again. And he said, I just got to be a little bit more precise in some of what I'm doing. And the frightening part for the rest of the field is if he can be more precise and be even faster with the way he's throwing down laps, go wide there in his turn in.
Yeah, he got in there super deep and just had to run a little bit wide so he didn't get the back of Michael there and lost a couple of car lengths. Nate Vincent, who's leading this race, he even said yesterday, he said you got to stay so focused, just a momentary lapse and get you into trouble around one of these street circuits. The margin for error is just not there.
Yeah, the margins here are fairly well defined, aren't they?
That is for sure. This is such a critical corner. You got to give that apex a little bit of racing room, because if you clip that, Tipper will fire you shredding that outside wall exiting turn 9. So you may think, okay, there's a touch. He clips it. Big impact there. Just as we were talking about turn 9, Walker just grazed that inside wall, it looked like.
That was substantial. That was 9A, wasn't it? He just, in the kink, he grazed it just a little bit.
Just talking about giving the turn 9 apex some respect, and down in the highest part, high speed corner on the racetrack, James just looked like he may have just glanced that apex a little bit.
Take another
look at it. Just thought he saw a puff of smoke right there. Yes, he does. Left rear corner. Fires him across. The margins are so small, as we were just talking about, Greg.
That's a good sign. Hand out the window, letting the corner marshals know that I'm okay. Then doing the correct thing, staying in that car until this field is under control.
It's a big hit. Cars are probably running about 120 miles an hour through that corner. And he didn't scrub off much speed, that is for sure.
Tough blow for one of the guys who's brought an awful lot of excitement to this TCR class already this season. This, of course, not quite the type of excitement he wants to be providing, but he really has been a great addition to this championship. You hate to see it end like this here in this 4th round.
First real mistake we've seen from him this season. He's been so disciplined and inching up on pace all weekend long. Been in the mix for a win both days. But this is a street circuit for you. Just a mistake at the wrong point on the racetrack, and it will bite you. Safety crew's going to work, clean up underway at the same time as ensuring that James is okay.
Give you another look at it here, then we'll run through the order at this point. That's, you can see it. That little kiss, and now
already clipped, sent him into an oversteer moment, and then it's all gone away from him. He's tagged the right rear as well on the exit of the kink, and he's just along for the ride as he pinballs down this straightaway. Just watch that graze.
Yeah, there it is.
Left rear fender flare basically just sent him across. See the marbles on the outside of the racetrack, so nothing's really giving you a helping hand at that stage of the game.
There he is, walking over to the medical vehicle. Anytime you have wall contact, they always, it's just a matter of protocol that they put you in the medical vehicle, take you to the medical center to get looked at, but walking there under his own power. And that's a corner that if tires are right and everything's set in the car, in these cars, there's no lift. You're just flat chat through there. But as you said, you have to do that, you've got to thread that needle, and that little kiss of that inside wall moves you over half a foot. Well, that's it.
That's all it takes. And, you know, he was so focused on chasing down Michael Herzen for that second position. And those are the margins. I mean, he could have literally been half an inch further off that apex and he'd have been fine, but he just clipped it enough to send him into that slide, and then the right rear is into the wall. And then all the suspension is not going to give you the direction you're looking for.
So that puts us under our first full course caution here in round 4 of the TCR Championship from St. Pete. Under caution now, and of course the two teammates, Vincent and Herzen, in the FCP Euro by HRD, Liquimali, and Cortico machines are going to be running 1-2. Although there is a lap car, the lap car of Eric Powell, the leader in the TCA Invitational category, in between them. Then, starting with third overall, yesterday's TCR Cup winner, Brian Putt, in the E-Euro Parts Motor Oil Row Racing entry. Then you've got Mike McCann in the number 3 Yeti Coolers McCann Racing entry. Then you've got Christian Cole, his teammate, in the No Shock Yeti Coolers McCann Audi. Then Zielinski in that fast MD RS Works Audi, and then completing the top 5 in the TCR Cup is Nelson Chan in the Audi Downtown Toronto Simplus Realty Law C17 Mini Audi from Alpha Sonic Motorsports. And then in the TCA Cup Invitational class, Powell continues to lead in the number 91. That is the BRZHQ.com entry over Mike Ogren in the Lombard Bros Gaming Subaru. And then team co-owner Kevin Anderson in the Tech Sport entry as well. And look there at the cleanup that they are starting to affect.
Well, the clock is winding down rapidly here. Just under 8 minutes to go. It's going to be tough to get back to green. But if we should, I think Brian Putt, even though he's putting another great performance, Michael McCann Jr. is really having a great run here this afternoon. His fast lap is only 0.3 off of Putt, so looks like he may have the pace to put the pressure on if we do see some green flag action before the checker today.
Yeah, it's all a matter of how quick they can get the Alpha up on the back of that flatbed and then head out. They've got the crews out. They're already working on a little bit of fluid that has come down on the track. You see what they call the kitty litter.
Fortunately, it's far enough down the racetrack. Yes. You've completed that high-speed kink. The loader's out of the car. You can probably then just jink to the left here for a couple of laps if we should see some action. Not be running through that. Great to see this race finish under green.
Yes, it would, and certainly for Vincent as well, who after yesterday's race finds himself third in the points behind his teammate Herzen, who's got a nice size margin right now of 13 points over his teammate Herzen. And Walker, of course, going to drop a little bit further down the points as a result here. So opportunity here for Vincent to close this up, and obviously like to have a shot at doing it under green, as you point out. And we'd love to see the battle, see what McCann and Cole and Zielinski and Chan could do with Brian Putt, if anything, as well.
Race against the clock. Crews are doing a great job out there of getting that cleanup pretty much complete. And then you got to be on your toes. Everyone's got to be ready to go. Try and keep those tires clean. Ride the brake a little bit. Try and generate some tire temperature through that.
So the feud continues to follow around behind our safety car. We hope to be able to get back to green shortly. That black and yellow Audi right there, run by Tooth Autosport, the number 37, is the life storage entry of Eddie Killeen. And Eddie is a regular, even though he lives in upstate New York. He does a lot of racing in the Canadian Touring Car Championship. They came down, raced at the Glen with us last year. He really enjoyed it, and he decided to come and run the first couple of events this year. And I asked him earlier this weekend, I said, we going to see you for the full season? He said, that wasn't originally the plan. And he said, but I am learning so much about racecraft with some of the level of the competition here in this championship with these, the Vincent and Herzen and the FCP Euros, and obviously the team that won the opening rounds of the championship at Circuit of the Americas in the Hyundai with Mason Filippi. He said, whenever they go by me, I tuck in behind them and try and learn and follow. I go talk to him in the paddock, and he said, this is nothing but helping my racing. And he said, I'd like to try and get down here for a lot more of these this year if possible. And he and the team are a great addition to the paddock.
They really are, and he's a keen competitor, and he talked to me about maybe running the VIR on the Glen again, which is obviously in his neck of the woods. Runs a lot up in Canada. He's run the Toronto Indy Street Course and Montreal in Porsche Cup competition, so this isn't such a stretch, even though it's his first time on a true street circuit like this. A little bit tighter here, but
As you've said, there are sections of Montreal that feel pretty streety.
Yes.
That track.
And Toronto Indy as well is not a lot different.
No. Well, about 4 minutes left to go. If we do go back to racing, we may have ourselves a true shootout here. It's just a matter of how quickly those EV crews can get things cleaned up.
Yeah, green light.
Yeah.
Checker. See, looking at the
Looks
clock
like the safety
here.
car is picking this pace up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's usually an indication that.
Which is good if they've got that car fully clear of the racetrack. Otherwise, you'd almost want to slow it down and just try and back time it to be back around with a little bit of time left on the clock.
That's what I'm wondering. We see right here, this is turn 9, we'll see just what the scenario is. Normally when you see them pick the pace up, it's the opportunity to get the teams to scrub the tires and get them cleaned up and everything, but at this stage, that tow truck's there, but it looks like everybody's getting into the EV vehicles, and as soon as that tilt bed is not tilting, they can leave.
My concern is if they can get back around and beat the checkered flag.
Well, we're getting a report that lights might be going out on the safety vehicle literally as it passes.
Wow.
The incident scene.
Game on.
Wow.
I think there's maybe a safe haven down there in the brake zone for turn 10 to get that car off the racetrack.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can drive straight through and do a little bit of bob and weave. But
lights are out.
Behind the ball. Here we go. So this lap and one more, maybe?
Yes. 2-lap shootout.
Oh, this is going to be fun. And Vincent, liking the fact he's got a little gap with Eric Powell parked right there. We're green. We are racing once again. And immediately Herzen moves to the inside, but boy, it seems to be taking him a long time to clear Powell. Here comes Putt.
Locks up momentarily,
locks up.
forces Powell out wide. McCann there trying to fight his way through lap traffic as well.
I was going to say, Powell, nice track awareness, but I'm pretty sure he heard that chirp and knew what was unfolding.
If he didn't see it, he could hear it.
Absolutely. Boy, that has given Putt just a little bit of breathing room. Then the McCann-Cole duo. Lozier in the 47 right there. Actually took a look at his team, the 45 of Chan, expecting the white flag next time by.
Chan and Lozier very much in a battle there, the two teammates. There you see him heading on that back stretch.
They're trying to figure out a way by Selinsky. And there's,
lock up there by McCann.
Or was it just running through that oil dry? Let's hope it was just that. And he made it through. Powell now again just staying outside, letting everybody through as best he can. But with that gap at the restart, Vincent, a pretty sizable margin here as the white flag comes out.
Well, he timed that restart perfectly, realized that he had the buffer with the slower TCA car between he and his teammate, Michael Herzen. Putt did a really nice job of clearing the traffic effectively and taking that pressure off that Mike McCann possibly could have put on there with that 2-lap shootout at the end. Lozier down to the inside, that's for position.
Yeah. Puts him up now into the top 5 in the TCR Cup class. And again, he swept the opening weekend at Circuit of the Americas. And the impressive thing here, Cal, is Putt, impressive enough if he hangs on to win once again. But McCann and Cole, that would put both of the McCann Racing Audis on the TCR Cup podium.
That's awesome.
It's a great day.
Great team performance. Nate Vincent, can he seal the deal here? 4 corners from the checkered flag for the first time in TCR competition.
Well, he comes in now 13 points behind his teammate Herzen, who's second. 8-point swing in points from first to second. That'll close things up as they get ready to head to VIR.
Yeah, the wins really paid big dividends now with the new point structure.
And out of the last turn in FCP Euro, Heinlein Racing Development, Liqui Moly, and Cortico, come through with another win. Nate Vincent this time from pole, bringing home the win. Teammate Herzen in the 71 finishes in second spot and third overall once again. The Cinderella story of Brian Putt. What a great program in that eEuroparts.com Row Motor Oil Aries and Accutech entry. Just a superb story. Second win of the weekend, and the two McCann Audis of McCann and Cole do complete the TCR Cup podium.
Awesome weekend for that team. Sharing the spoils. Make it an easier flight home tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And obviously, it's unfortunate with having to James Walker.
He'll score points, though. You have to do 75% of the laps this year, and I think he's just inside that margin. 26-lap race. He's 6 laps down.
And in the
he just squeaks it.
Yeah, I think you're right. In the TCA Cup Invitational, Powell getting his second win. Ogren second once again, and Kevin Anderson third in that group of TCA cars, the Tech Sport, TCA Spec machines. And Vincent really enjoying this long lap of honor here, as you would expect. Nice job, Lazier getting around his teammate Chan on that last lap. Solinsky hanging on to a 4th place, so a 2nd and a 4th in your first weekend of racing these cars and on a street circuit. Not too shabby, Jay, in that Fast MD entry.
Yeah, he can celebrate tonight, and he's got a lot of fans and guests here to do it with him. He'll know the best places to go in town. What a weekend of racing.
Absolutely. The weather stunning, and every one of these races was just absolutely enthralling at some level. And that's what you love to see. SRO America just putting together a great program here on the streets of St. Pete. Everything presented by CrowdStrike, a great partner of this championship as well. And when you have weather like this, that's the Suncoast for you. Just beautiful. Good looking cars, these Liqui-Moly VWs.
They really are. They're fun cars to drive. Every driver that gets in one just says, wow, what a machine. Great balance, great performance. Still over 300 horsepower. And the way they handle is incredible.
And into the pits in front of the staging area they come. So absolutely great run for this team. Once again, a sweep of the weekend for Brian Putt. That's not too bad. That puts him now, I think, and he can start a run. He's got to be put together a few more, but Brian Putt for the Cavana Cup.
That's right. Sweeping the weekend. You got to do it 5 times, get 7 fast laps, 7 poles, but he's well on his way.
Absolutely. So there's Nate Vincent out, doing just a great job. So congratulations to FCP Euro by HRD and to Brian Putt and that great program from the eEuroparts.com team for a sweep of the weekend. These cars curb hopping, exciting, just putting on an absolutely fabulous show. And they opened the season at Circuit of the Americas, a full-blown, wide-open racetrack. Now they come here to a street course. Next up, one of the glorious natural terrain road courses at VIR. I can't wait.
What a ribbon of asphalt that is at VIR.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much for joining us here from the streets of St. Pete. For Cal and Ryan Marine, I'm Greg Creamer. We look forward to bringing you the rest of this season. Next event coming up at VIR. We hope you'll join us, and we'll see you then. Take care, everybody.